Hey, what up guys, it's True Dark Knight. Thanks for tuning into part 2 of the changes in the Division. Last time we discussed in part 1 the changes to the non-Darkzone area, the single player or co-op areas. We saw a new subway mission, the subway morgue. We encountered the new faction, which were the cleaners. We rescued Paul Rhodes, which is the engineer, which unlocked the tech wing, which gave us a deployable turret. This was amazing. If you haven't go see it, go check it out in the description or when it pops up right now, because this is part 2. We are going to strictly cover the Dark Zone changes in the Division. Let's go! So first off, in the Dark Zone, like in the solo and co-op world, we saw destructive environments and an increased destructive and impactful environments as well. I was calling for this throughout the open beta, the closed beta, and the alpha as well. We needed to see more chaos, more destructiveness, and more environmental influences. I know that Ubisoft is really working hard for this, and I know that they're going to do it, and it's going to pay off. And in the Dark Zone as well, we see new areas with new Dark Zone chests, and in these chests there are specific weapons that are only catered to the Dark Zone that obviously they are contaminated, so you have to extract them to get them. However, these chests aren't just given to you. We see new elites and veteran enemies guarding these chests. The new elites and veterans have been given an experience buff, a damage buff, and a weapon buff as well. So these enemies are stronger, have more defense, and actually think a little bit smarter than they did before. These enemies already are super smart. They are trying to pin you down. They don't go out of cover too much. You can't really lure them. You can't really kite them all that well, but they are strong. Really, really well done. And for the first time as well, we see the cleaners coming into the Dark Zone. There are actually two factions in this Dark Zone that we got to experience in the open beta, and I didn't get a clip of it, but at one point they were actually fighting each other, and they preferred fighting each other than fighting me. It was actually pretty cool and pretty funny. I was able to sneak by and kill them from behind and get all their experience and loot. And additionally as well, we saw a change to the bounty system in the Dark Zone. Nothing too big here, but we saw a minor change that definitely helped as well. The manhunt bounty timer, especially when you're in level 5, timer pauses instead of actually refreshing on level 5 combat. We saw this in the closed beta. This would be quite difficult because every time that obviously people were coming to kill you, you'd have to kill them, and this would continue to refresh your bounty, and you never really actually reap that rewards. But now, as long as you don't engage in a firefight, your bounty will pause, or your bounty will continue to deplete, and you'll actually reap the rewards of going rogue. And that's one of the other things that they've changed as well. The rogue bounties were increased and buffed. You'd actually be given more Dark Zone currency, more Dark Zone experience, and possible more Dark Zone loot as well. We even saw a warning icon that was placed above the heads, kind of like an exclamation mark for players who were shooting non-hostile enemies. So this happened if you accidentally shot an enemy once or twice and you're like, oh, I don't want to go rogue, but there's an icon that kind of popped up above your head. People were notified within your immediate area, but you weren't classified as rogue. And like as I said before, they have increased the refresh rate of the Dark Zone chest, which is amazing to see. I was just scavenging for Dark Zone chests and actually getting a lot of blues out of them. I got some great weapons, some carbines, some M4s, some scars as well from these chests and from these loot items. And especially as I said, we do experience elite and veteran enemies protecting these chests, so you're going to get loot from them as well. One of my favorite guns in this game was a single fire carbine. Especially in the Dark Zone, I really feel that doing single fire damage is much more beneficial than spraying with your assault rifle. We see my damage go above 2,000, especially with the carbine. The carbine was great. It had heavy damage, great accuracy, and great range as well. I was even able to quick scope around some corners as well and down some enemies from a distance. Obviously, we did not see the magazine size increase with these carbines like assault rifle or the M4A or the police M1, but having 15 rounds that deal amazing damage is good enough for me. And combined with these carbines, we see skills and passive skills that are attached with them, such as 150 headshot accuracy or 150 headshot bonus, which is great, especially when you're looking for headshots. Throughout the Dark Zone, it felt difficult but yet fun. They have really added to the fun of the Dark Zone by increasing the enemies, increasing difficulty, and increasing the chests as well. They're really going towards a great thing, and I can't wait for the product when it's released in March. These enemies were extremely tough, especially when you're playing by yourself, and I do recommend playing with a group because you'll just go through these enemies much faster. faster. And obviously with the Dark Zone chests, I did get some gameplay of showing me opening some Dark Zone chests, getting some loot. It was amazing. I was not able for some reason to open any chests in the closed beta version, or the refresh rate was extremely off, so this was my only gameplay of me actually getting these chests. And we see that there's different levels that you're able to get these chests at. So if you're only a Dark Zone level 8 and this chest is Dark Zone level 10, well, sorry, you're gonna have to just increase your Dark Zone level to get this chest unlocked. As with any RPG I play, I'm extremely excited to get a higher level. I know RPGs suffer, and I know a lot of people cry about them, especially from levels 1 to 10, because they might seem boring, they might seem slow, they might seem stale, you might not deal as much damage. But trust me guys, in RPG, and if they do this RPG right, when you get above in high levels, we will see amazing numbers, and I can't wait for it. And especially when you get into high levels, you get into higher loot as well, which goes on to the high-end loot that we first got to see in this open beta. The high-end loot in The Division is equivalent to the exotics in Destiny. These high-end loots were available in the safe room, at the vendors, and they cost anywhere from 7 to 8k in Dark Zone loot. I tried and tried and tried to get as much money as I could to give you guys some gameplay, to get them, to buy them, but every time I'd get close, 6,000, I'd end up going rogue for some odd reason and people just kill me. I'd lose 500 currency, and then that would happen twice, 3 times, and I'd just be devastated. So I tried. I wasn't able to purchase any high-end loot in this time, but I was able to see it, and they look amazing. They have amazing passive abilities, amazing talents, and amazing skills to be desired. Whether you're going rogue or hunting, doing raids, killing enemy elites and veterans, the Dark Zone is an amazing place to be. I found myself popping in and out of the Dark Zone, get an extra level in the single player world so I can get an increased Dark Zone bracket. We saw a change in the bounty system that offered more rewards for players who went rogue and more rewards for players who actually go rogue hunting. But like any good thing, there's a bad thing as well. We saw a problem. We saw increased misfires from players, and they would end up going rogue. There's players, even myself, that would be shooting other rogue agents in a giant bundle, end up misfiring, hitting a non-hostile enemy, and they would go rogue. These players, like myself, would try and run away, but then obviously get killed by the mob. So I don't know what Ubisoft needs to do with this, whether they need to increase the damage from misfires on non-hostile enemies, but something has to be tweaked just a little bit, because I could only imagine, especially when you have some loot and you're a high-end player, you got some high-end superiors, and you just need to extract them, you accidentally misfire when you're trying to kill a rogue, and you go rogue and people get your items. That would be devastating. I would probably cry. So I think there needs to be something tweaked a little bit just to give non-hostile enemies a little bit more of a buff. And one of the other problems that I experienced in this open beta was when I was trying to play with one of my players as well, Physical Perv. We were different non-Dark Zone levels. He was a non-Dark Zone level 7 and I was a non-Dark Zone level 8. So this puts me in a different Dark Zone bracket. I was in Dark Zone bracket 8 to 8. He was in a Dark Zone bracket 1 to 7. We tried to play together, but we weren't able to do so. There was a little button that said you can transfer to a different Dark Zone level, but this was not active in the beta. I know this will be active when the game actually comes out, but I wasn't able to see how it would actually play when you're playing with someone with a different level. Question to be asked, would I get experience loot? Would I get even as much experience? Would I get no experiences at all if I'm level 8 playing in a bracket 1 to 7? Or would I be even allowed to do so? These are all questions that I'm going to have to be seen, and they're going to have to be answered when the game comes out. Overall, for me, this game is a definite buy. I'm going to be buying it. I already have it pre-ordered, and I'm really looking forward to it. I've been boasting to all my friends, hey guys, let's jump on this game. Let's give it a shot, because I know there's definite potential. I'm not going to say that this game is going to be the best game ever, but this game has the potential, and that is the key. This game has the potential to be one of the best games this year, and especially last year as well. This game has been talked about for like 3 years now, since 2013 E3, and I just can't wait. They've made some amazing changes. They're really listening to us, guys, so I know that with this beta, although it's pretty close to the come out close, they're going to be doing some tweaks. I thank you guys for tuning in for part 1 and part 2 of this series with changes in the division. I will be putting out a startup guide closer to when the division comes out in March, and I hope you guys can jump on that and take a look at it as well. This will be doing an introduction from the beginning, little key tips, little hints and tricks to get you through the division, manage you around your base system, how to actually take advantage of those encounters, because I know already there's been people asking me, how do I take advantage of these counters? What are my talent skills? How do I increase my talent skills? How do I build a tank? How do I build a squishy character? How do I build like a mage type character? There are all these things to be desired, and I have the answer for them, so I will be putting out a little startup guide to help you guys with it. I thank you guys for tuning in. Again, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitch, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook, follow me on everything, guys, and I thank you guys for watching again, because here at True Dark Night, gaming is what we do. True Darks out.